Alright, in this video I want to show you a little bit about an anchor point, and what I'm talking about is the place that you draw back to and you make contact with your face, whether it's a string or a part of your hand, that you can come back to the same over and over again just to help make your shot that much more consistent. An anchor point is not only just your release hand being on your jaw, but the string touching the face and hopefully multiple places, but doing it with light pressure. And I definitely want to emphasize light pressure because with today's bows and being a higher let off, it's going to really change how the arrow flies if you're putting pressure on a bow that has a light holding weight. In other words, you're influencing the string and the way it's tracking forward, and that's going to affect the way that your arrow flies when it comes out of the bow. So ideally we're looking for an anchor point that has at least 3 positions that you can touch in your face, and using your peep as well. So being able to see through your peep may be considered as one, a light touch on the tip of your nose can be considered as one, and then a touch in the corner of the mouth can be considered as one as well. A lot of people are going to use kisser buttons so that they can find that corner of the mouth position. I personally am not a big fan of it because of the face pressure that you get on the string. Now if you need it and it picks you up accuracy, that's great, but I would suggest doing a small one that does not put a lot of pressure on the string and won't make your string travel out to the side and kind of oversteer and correct, giving right-handed shooters like a tail left flight or a low right impact on your broadhead. So I'll show you what I do for an anchor point, and I just come to a light touch, tip of the nose, corner of the mouth, and then my hand is going to be resting on my jaw, and I try to make bone-to-bone contact from my hand and my jaw so that I know I'm in the same place. And another thing about the jaw is you want to make sure you always have your mouth closed. You see people opening and shutting their mouth when they shoot, and with an open mouth it's hard to come back to the same place over and over because your jaw line's moving up and down. But that's also why you have your other references like corner of your mouth, tip of your nose, peep sight. And so I'm just going to show you real quick how I anchor the bow back when I draw it. So I lightly come, tip of the nose, corner of the mouth, and I'm looking squarely through my peep. And then when the bow or the arrow leaves on the shot, it leaves clean. It tracks straight and true with good arrow flight, and that's really the goal. So I'm going to show you some close-up shots, but I really want to see you guys be nice and light on the face, not lifting the cheek and not putting torque on the string by doing that. So anyways, that's the anchor point that I would do, and I'll go ahead and show you some more clips of what it looks like close up as well. So one thing you're going to see when you see an incorrect anchor point is a lot of lifting on the face or a lot of pressure on the string from your nose. And what it's going to look like is like this. You're going to see people come back, their hand's going to be deep back with no anchor or floating anchor, and their face is going to be buried like this. They're going to lift their nose, they're going to lift their cheek, you'll see their lips move. That's all no good. And this hand also will be behind the head, and that's not a place you want to be. Like I said, that's a floating anchor point, and a floating anchor point can be 2 things. It's either the hand floating behind your head, which can be from too long of a draw length or too long of a release, and it can also be a floating anchor point on the front side with the string away from the face as well. No contact points on the nose or corner of the mouth. Both of those things are going to result in bad groups at long distance, 40, 50, 60 yards and further, of course. But don't do a floating anchor point. If you can, shorten your string loop, shorten your release, whatever you can do to get that light touch tip of the nose, but still maintaining a good solid bone-to-bone contact on your jawline somewhere in here. A couple other bad habit things that I see is people will take their thumb and they'll put it on the inside of the release. Let that thumb drop out of there when you're there. Don't put it on the side, making that string sit further from your head, because now you're going to have to lean over to the string, and that's going to force you to have an incorrect anchor point, and probably going to lose that contact point on the corner of your mouth. And another thing that I want to say too is don't let your fletching or your veins be a part of your anchor point. Try not to touch that with your face. A little bit of tension on the side of the arrow can move that while you're at full draw. And you got to remember there's less pressure there than anywhere. So try not to touch that vein or the arrow. We always try to fletch our veins to where they're as far back as possible without touching your face. So one is so it'll stabilize the arrow quickly, but also that way you're not getting that pressure or that torque from that vein hitting your face. I talked a little bit in one of my other videos. It was about your front hand grip, where I said you want to be soft with both of your hands, front and backhand. And what I mean by soft, and I'll show you, is with the backhand, I'm not going to be grabbing or clinching the release really hard or torquing the string like this, which is bad to do at full draw because, again, you're holding with let off and there's not much holding weight, so I can really influence the way that string comes forward and off the release by just clinching, and that's not good. So what I want to see people do is be soft in the hand. You should be able to basically wave at the target with both hands, and that's going to let you know that you're not holding or influencing that at all, and you're just going to let it come off the front bow, nice and clean. But those hands have to be soft. If you don't, you're going to get another torque point. So there again, for anchor point, soft hand on the jaw, loose fingers, a light touch, tip of the nose, corner of the mouth, and if you can get those things along with your peep sight, all in one line, you're going to have more consistency, and you're also going to be able to pull up on the target a lot faster, which obviously in a hunting scenario, that's the best, because now I can draw with minimal movement, and I'm not moving my head around trying to find a weird anchor point, because I came to the string came to my face squarely and quickly, and now I'm in my anchor and I'm settled and ready to make the shot. So if you can work on your anchor point, make it soft, don't pressure the string, and find something you can duplicate over and over again. And if you guys ever have any questions on any of this, feel free to comment on my videos, leave me a message, whatever you want to do, and I'd be more than happy to answer them. So I hope that helps you a little bit with your anchor point. And I know that just covered a caliper style, or like this is a hook style release, but if we might get to something else later, but that's just basically the basics of how you would do it with a wrist strap style release.